I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about I keep obsessing about my mistakes. So Margaret, one of the things that I'm constantly seeing is how when somebody's broken up with, they do things that they're not proud of. Maybe they stalk their ex, or they scream at their ex, or they're begging and they're pleading, and they feel terrible about it. And I see how people just get stuck in that.
Oh, I see it often too.
And so they're so stuck with that guilt and that, blaming themselves over the situation that they have a hard time focusing on anything else and really staying positive. I got a quick email that I wanted to share today.
All right.
They said, "Hi Craig, I've been watching your videos religiously for the past 3 months, and I'm so thankful for all the advice I received along the way.
Great.
You and Coach Margaret are awesome.
Well, thank you.
I was hoping you could do a video on obsessing over mistakes. I feel like I am trapped in my own personal hell. For some reason, it's hard for me to focus on the personal growth because I keep obsessing over how poorly I acted when we broke up. I made so many mistakes, begging, pleading, stalking, and unfortunately lost my temper when I got desperate. I said a lot of things I regret, and I want to reach out to apologize, but I know they will probably be a bad idea as we have not spoken in 3 months. How do I live with the guilt of knowing what I've done that hurt them?" It's a great question. And I think most of you guys out there feel this way. Most of you said or did things that you're embarrassed about or maybe even ashamed of if you did something really extreme like stalking somebody. I can't tell you how often I have people get caught stalking, so do not do it.
Stalk. No.
I know somebody just recently got caught driving one way and the ex was going the other, and she's like, "Why are you going on my street? What's going on?" And of course, it made the situation worse.
Of course.
But
stalking can also be illegal, so be very careful about stalking.
yeah. I know a lot of you guys want to stalk social media, but I'm telling you, a lot of you accidentally hit like buttons or follow buttons, or you watch a story you didn't mean to really watch, and next thing you know, you're like, "Oh no, they know I'm watching," and you feel bad and you beat yourself up over these kind of things. So you have to be really careful. You have to really stay disciplined in your approach. And, I totally understand what they're saying here about feeling that own personal hell of just beating myself up. A lot of people that are looking at our channel are like, I didn't treat my partner with respect. I wasn't a good listener. I didn't communicate well. I didn't give them what they needed. I ignored them. And so they're beating themselves over that.
Yep.
And over the things that they did when they got broken up with. So it's a combination.
And it's very miserable to live with.
Yeah, it is really miserable. So what do you think about, what people are going through with that guilt?
Well, I think you really have to take a long look at your guilt. I mean, if we're all grown-ups, and if you do something that you're not happy with, owning it and apologizing for it is appropriate. Mm-hmm. That doesn't always work in a breakup, however, because it can become a reason to make contact when that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
But I'm going to guess that this person is anxious, because it's the anxious folks that I hear the most about terrible guilt and terrible things they did. And when I ask for specifics, it's, they refused to go to his favorite restaurant one night and they went to hers. And I mean, there's nothing that they have done outside of the breakup that would justify a breakup.
Yeah.
So that oftentimes people are beating themselves up for no reason at all.
Okay, so I think what you're trying to say here is that many of you didn't even do anything that would have normally caused a breakup if you were somebody that's emotionally healthy.
Right.
And so some of you are beating yourself up for absolutely no reason. Some of them are beating themselves up over mistreating an ex.
Well, that's a whole other thing. But I think that what happens at a breakup, when everybody's emotions are raw and out and all over the place, that, you know, if you are a feeling person, it's very likely that you're going to become angry.
Yeah.
And scream and yell or beg and plead or do them alternately.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not unreasonable. This is a huge issue that happens in people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So if you lost it to some extent at a breakup, particularly a breakup you didn't expect,
Yeah.
okay, then you know, you have to own what you have to own. But beating yourself up over and over again, like I say, is definitely a wasted trip. It takes your energy to keep beating yourself up, energy that should go into your healing, your working on yourself, and you're moving on.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. That's so true.
And in a little while, we're going to talk more about anxious attachment style. But if you're anxious, then chances are your mother was very loving and tuned into you sometimes. And then at other times, totally not tuned into you, and sometimes even kind of pushes you away. Mm-hmm. And you spend your entire childhood trying to figure out what you did to make her push you away that next day. Mm-hmm. And chances are you did nothing, and that it had to do with her internal state.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it may have had everything to do with your date's internal state. I mean, there are a lot of things you have to know, like, you know, how long were you together? What kinds of things did you fight over? Was your partner difficult in that you never knew when you were going to hear from him or her? There are all those things that can go into it. But there's very little that one party can do all by themselves to really justify a breakup.
Yeah.
So put your energy where it belongs.
On the personal growth.
On the personal growth.
And, you know, I have some people will talk to me about how they're so obsessed about what they did wrong. Like, all they keep do is scrutinize. I kept doing this after the breakup. I kept reaching out. I kept doing that. Are my chances done? Are my chances over? Do I have no more chance? And that's all they can think about.
Right.
So they'll buy the workbooks and they'll have difficulty just sitting down to do the workbooks because they're so stuck in, do I have any chance?
Well, you know this person, we don't. Was it the kind of thing you fought about forever? What sort of was the last fight you had that seemed to be the tipping point? There were all those things that you need to take into consideration. And I mean, certainly one party can be the problem, but most of the time it's shared, and it has to do with an interplay. Okay? Yeah. But people break up. It happens. Not everybody is right for everybody.
That's true.
And it does not mean that you won't find somebody else equally good or wonderful in a different way. But at that moment, it feels like nobody's going to love you because your mother didn't on alternate days, and now this guy doesn't, and it feels like you're going to be alone for the rest of your life, which does not have to happen.
No.
Okay.
And my simple tip for this would be that, you know, you want to behave in a way that they are coming back at some point. Mm-hmm. Whether or not that happens, only time will tell. But if you act as if they are coming back and you're preparing for that, right, that keeps you focused.
That's a motivator. Right.
On the
it
positive.
Focused, right.
And you can sit down and focus on, okay, what are the skills I need to work on? Where am I lacking? Where do I need to improve as a partner? And focus on the right thing. If they don't come back, you still spent all that energy on the right thing.
That's
as
right.
Opposed to if you sit there and just analyze everything you did wrong. I had a guy recently who all he does is want to give me a list of things he did wrong in the relationship and say, do I still have a chance even though I did all of these things?
Only if you learn how not to do them anymore.
Exactly. So focus on the what you want to be and who you want to become, and that way if they come back, you're ready.
Yeah.
You've not wasted all the energy in the wrong thing.
And then it goes on to almost sort of personal catastrophizing. Why would anybody want to be with me?
Yeah.
Look at how angry I got at him. Who would want to be with anybody as angry as I am? I know I'll be alone forever. No. So you got to catch yourself when you're beating yourself up and say no.
Yeah.
Not helpful. Not constructive.
Yeah. The more you can minimize that and focus on who you want to become,
That's right.
the better off you're going to be. And if they don't reach out, at some point you'll feel like you want to date other people again, whatever that may be. Everybody's different.
Right.
But if they do come back, you will be ready.
So be careful about making generalizations. No one will ever love me. You know, my macaroni and cheese is terrible, and I'm a nag, and no one's ever going to want to be with me. And once you get into always, never, and being sure of what the future is going to hold, you're out of the realm of the reasonable.
Yeah.
I am not beating myself up today. I am putting my energy into different things.
Yeah. You got to. Because it's wasted energy.
And yes, it's wasted energy. That's the problem with it. And it doesn't solve anything.
It really doesn't. And the obsessing over it, it only happens in your mind. Whatever's going on is only up there. It doesn't. Your ex might not even think about those things or really have cared about those things.
Yes.
Yet you're analyzing and scrutinizing over and over again.
And assuming that somehow beating yourself up is going to fix something. It isn't.
It isn't.
Except it's going to make you more depressed and more unhappy.
Some of you guys will get a chance with your ex. Some of you won't.
Some of you will not.
You know, it depends on, your own situation. Unfortunately, we don't have a crystal ball. We do our best to give you our ideas, and
we're trying to get one.
Yeah,
we're trying
we
very
ordered
hard
one
to
on
get
Amazon.
A crystal ball. Yes, that's what I was going to say, but it hasn't arrived yet. And people will ask me, well, how long do you think it will take? I don't have a crystal ball.
We'll try and give you an estimate.
Yeah,
but
we'll give you the best guess we can, but that's all we can do.
Yeah. Because there are so many factors that can happen along the way. Your ex can get into an accident, and that's the first thing they do is call you. I've had that happen recently.
Absolutely.
Things like that happen.
Yep.
Your ex has a nightmare. Your ex has a memory come up on their Facebook, and they think about a time, and then you just, I miss you. It happens.
It happens.
So prepare for that. That's the best way to handle it, is just to prepare that they will come back. And if they don't, you're still
better off.
Way better off than you would be if you were obsessing.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Did you have any more you want to add?
No, the only other thing I was going to say is you have to always ask yourself, what messages had I gotten about my worth before this relationship? Okay? Was I always in trouble when I was a kid? Was everybody always telling me I didn't do anything right? Because that can come with us too. And it can add up to the beating up.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Hopefully you guys found this one helpful. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skypes. Margaret is available for Skype coaching.
If you feel like I can be helpful, please feel free to sign up.
Just click on Margaret on the top of the website to do that. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon.